The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, your sports guy. We got a big show for y'all tonight, starting a little bit earlier than usual because we got a lot to talk about, and I'm ready to get right into it. I'm joined by my two co-hosts you can catch on CrescentCitySports.com. You got George Peppers and VK Jones. What's up, fellas?
Doing what? Doing great. Doing great. Last week of the regular season in prep football, a ton to talk about. And I just go ahead, Jared. I wanted to pay tribute before we started, but might as well go ahead and do that. We lost a legend earlier this evening. Bobby Knight, the late great head coach of the Indiana University Hoosiers, has passed away at the age of 83. Died amongst his family and friends. Uh, don't know the cause of his death, but rest in peace, coach. Uh, you're in God's hands now.
VK.
What's going on, folks? Like, tag, share, subscribe to Hash It Out Show on all social media platforms. Go to the hashitoutshow.com. Check out all our content. Got a packed night tonight, man. Rest in peace to Bobby Knight, the legend. And hey, man, you know we got a lot. We're on early for a reason tonight. So I hope you tune in.
And how?
This is gonna be unbelievable what we got for you.
Most definitely. We have the head coach of Newman joining us, Coach Nelson Stewart at 8 o'clock. And we have Coach Matt McCullough, the head coach of the Acadiana Wrecking Rams, joining us at 8:45 p.m. God, let's get right into it. News came out yesterday about Coach J.T. Curtis, the head coach of the John Curtis Patriots, having to forfeit 30 games from the 2013 to the 2015 season. I'm like a lot of people. Why is this coming out 3 days before he plays against Edna Carr to compete against them and to also break the all-time coaching record in the United States of America? This sounds fishy, 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 shady, shady, shady. Because this is something when you read about it, it's pretty much supposedly done way before the season, and now it's just coming out. I, 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 I'm kind of like saying there's a lot of BS going on with this. What do you think, GP?
Look, where do we start, right? Because the scandal in and of itself is legit. It is legit. All right, with Willie Allen, that's what they're referencing. Okay, for those that don't know, Willie Allen shacked up with an assistant coach back before the 2013 season. This happened for 3 years now. Willie Allen was a spectacular football player for John Curtis. That's not the question here. The question is, why would an assistant coach take him into his house? He was not his legal guardian or any of that. hence the scandal. And John Curtis took this thing to court. They lost every time. They went to the magistrate court, they went to the to the state court. It got kicked back to the other court. They never won any appeal. Now, so the appeal was to vacate, as you said, Jared, the 30 wins. My problem is it's all about the timing.
Right.
4 days in advance, 3 days in, excuse me, 3 days in advance of a game that had historical proportions, implications. I'm sorry, I said proportions. I'm thinking food. I'm sorry. Historical implications. A game where if you knew about this scandal, you knew this game had no relevance in reference to the record. But yet, it was put on the shelf 10 years ago. This happened. 10. The appeals process ended in 2020. That John Curtis made one final swing at it did not happen. My problem is the timing. It's as simple as that. What are you doing, Eddie Bonine? What and that statement you put out yesterday? Go read it. It's in the Clarion Ledger article that the great legend Ron Bracado put out. And anything that dude puts out, that man puts out, is gold. As simple as that. 24 karat, all that good stuff. VK, you know it. But this is, and VK and I talked about this at length yesterday. On off air, and he's going to espouse his opinions here in a minute. I am sickened by what happened. It's not a question of the scandal. It's a question, Jared, of the timing.
Correct.
Why now?
Right. Go ahead, VK.
Well, I'm gonna try to say this the best way possible, and I'm gonna try to say it not to sneer totally everything on it, but I'm gonna do the best I can. Basically, the LHSA, well, they had to do due diligence, but the fact of the matter is, it's a freaking dirty game in this state. It's dirty as I don't know what, because it's almost like if you commit a crime, you commit something. All right, we're just gonna keep this on the shelf. We're gonna wait, then we're gonna bust it out. That's how they do it. This
What they
is a
did.
this is a message to all the programs, not just in New Orleans, but across the state of Louisiana. Do everything possible to keep your nose clean. Even if you do certain little things, you better have paperwork behind it to make sure you covered. If you don't, these people here is going to find a way to embarrass you. And that's what they're doing. They are embarrassing programs and not waiting to the time to doing it. To me, I'm sorry. I'm I I'm losing a little respect for LHSA again on this one. Why this was 10 years later? Why this should have been taken care of years ago? Just like the Warren Easton thing. You want to drop that before the season starts. Come on, man. We're starting to see now what the LHSA do. So all it is, you better keep your nose clean. Because it ain't about timing. These people gonna bust it the way they want to. It's almost like when you watch OJ in America, Made in America. You go look at that documentary. You see all those past charges and all that. When they padded all that, when he had to go to court that last freaking time, and they added all that, and for OJ to do that extended time in jail. So trust me, the system is flawed. The system is messed up. The system is
Hmm.
in itself, and the courts did yes they did. Kenny, good point. That's what we're saying. But at the same time, the LHSA should have did what they're supposed to do sooner than later. Not just with this particular thing, but the other cases that they had alone this year. And this is like icing on the cake like I've been living 44 years. This has been the wildest I have ever seen of high school athletics. And we're just in football. We're not even in the basketball season yet. We're in football and volleyball. We're not in the b-ball yet. We're not even a baseball or track yet. We got all this wild stuff going on because the LHSAA did due diligence in their timing and in their manner. And to me, that's hurting a lot of schools. That's hurting and this makes the state of Louisiana look bad.
I'm just gonna say it plain and simple. The LHSAA planned for this to happen. They waited for the week he was going to go for the record. They waited, and then to put this out, I think that's just shady in itself. If they been had this information, which they did, they should have been put it out. Been. And we wouldn't be talking about no record. We talked about the record before the season started. We talked to JT last year about the record when we had him on the show. We knew he was that close to it.
Exactly.
So the record for a coach here in Louisiana, you know how big that is? And they waited. And then Tuesday night, boom. I'm not cool with that. That's what I'm not cool with.
Let me throw this out to both of you guys. Question. Do you, and Jared, it seems like you're implying this, so I'm going to ask it. And I'm just going to just put it out there because that's what we do. We're going to take on a topic that's controversial, and this is, and we're not afraid to tackle it. So, Jared, I know your answer, VK. I don't. I think I know yours too. Was this a witch hunt concocted by one Eddie Bonine and his minions at the LHSA against John Curtis? I'd say absolutely.
VK?
I'm gonna say there's somebody definitely wanted him had. I'm not gonna say total witch hunt, but I can agree to this. Somebody wanted him had. Somebody wanted JT had some way, somehow, some way. Not gonna say the entirety of the LHSA, but I'm gonna say somebody from there wanted him had, and it smells set up. It smells it. Like you just I'm sorry, Nick. I understand. We're trying to be careful. We're trying to tread lightly, but we're telling the God honest truth. This is something not right with this. Something's not right when certain things in certain situations, and it don't matter the color, creed, or whatever. If there's something that okay, you got everything lined up for everything to move forward, push forward with certain issues, but all of a sudden, guess what? Somebody busts out some kind of paper, some kind of this, that, and the third. And it's like, where did this come from? And you look at something from years ago. It smells like a setup to me.
I'm not gonna say it's a witch hunt, but I think it was a planned strategic attack to wait for the week of the record when he's about to break it, or maybe breaks it. That's all I gotta say about it. I just wish if they knew about this information early, they would have came out and said it. And I have no problem with
You
it.
know what?
To wait until the week where he's supposed to break it and then come out with it. That's the part I'm like, that's just wrong in my opinion.
Now, you move the game to Hosmetz's, by the way. For those that don't know, John Curtis and the card game was moved from Berman. It is going to be played Friday night at Hosmetz's. Bigger capacity, bigger gate. So you move the game. And then the Clarion Ledger comes out with this story that the LHSAA is going to say, well, it's not for the record. It's as 30 wins have been stripped. Leave it. Okay. Curtis lost every appeal. Again, we're not questioning the incident itself at all. And none of us have a dog in this fight. This is about principle. Eddie Bonine and the LHSAA violated that code yesterday by doing this. What in the world are you waiting on a Tuesday in advance of that kind of game? You know? All right, Nick, we get it. Look, well,
We're not saying he's wrong.
I'm not
We're not saying
absolving.
he's not
No,
wrong.
at
Not saying
all.
that.
Nick, this is what I'm
No.
gonna say, Nick. Let's use common sense to this a little bit, Nick. It's almost like the
Oh,
steroid.
he used
It's
to common
almost
sense. He just
it's
seeing it different from how we see it.
it's almost like look, it's almost like the steroid controversy in baseball, where that came out all them years later. Why this wasn't solved years ago? Why all this consequence, all these punishments, why the penalties wasn't paid then? Something that could have been done
But
years ago. That's what we're saying. We're not saying
but
we're
VK,
not saying that Curtis wasn't wrong. We're saying the
but
timing is wrong on this. This should have been done more than this time now. This was 10 years ago, Nick. Something should have been done then, not now.
there is one thing I want to add. Two things. One, first, VK, the penalties were administered to Curtis. All right, everything was administered. We know this. The 30 wins were taken away. Here's the other part that I think that ticked the LHSA off. Guess what John Curtis has not done? In all 10 years, guess what they have not done? This is a fact. The trophy they won against University in 2013, you know where they're supposed to vacate it because they got stripped? They never turned it in. It's still on the Curtis trophy case, which is expensive because they've got 27 other state titles in there. You know, it's they have not returned a 2013 championship trophy. And I wonder if maybe the LHSA was like, wait a minute, hold up. Let's make an example of y'all. Since y'all want to play that stuff, let's come back and fire and let's get back at you like that.
Well, let's talk about it.
All right.
If he still has a trophy, why haven't they done anything since that ruling in 2015? Because you're supposed to get a
Well, they
trophy
had
back.
an appeal.
You're supposed to take the banners down. That's the two things. Banners come down, trophy gets returned.
Supposed to.
So why hasn't any of the actions been taken if he has that 2013 trophy still in the trophy case? They should have done
It's a
something since
question,
then. You don't wait 8 years.
right? It's a question I can't answer. I don't know. I don't work at John Curtis. I'm not affiliated in any way. None of us are. All we are is three huge fans of prep football,
Correct.
prep sports. So that's what we are. So again, we're not implying anything. None of us are. All we're talking about is the principle of the action. And yeah, exactly, Kenny. I mean, it was settled in 21 when Curtis put the Hail Mary and it did not work. It did not work. They lost. So in that essence, but again, we're now 2 days in advance or a day and a half in advance of this game. I'm just floored by the actions of Eddie Bonine. And I know we're about to get to our first guest who I can't wait to talk to because this team is having a spectacular year. But it's a crappy way to head into week 10, which is the last week of the season. And there are some salty matchups this week that are going to decide a lot. And we will announce our game of the week at the end of the show that we will go to, me and VK. So, Jared, go ahead with that. Take it away, bro.
All right, let's get right into it. I guess he's been the head coach at Newman High School for many, many years now, and he has his team slated to play for the district championship this Friday night against the St. Charles Catholic Comets. We have the one, the only coach, Nelson Stewart. Coach, how you doing? And thank you for joining us.
Oh, doing great. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for VK for staying on me. It's been a busy week. I'm not sleeping very much, but I think everybody had to go take their kids trick or treating last night. I know we talked up, but no, it really is a pleasure, honor to be here. Just appreciate all you guys do with the coverage, and it's good to talk some prep football. So no, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir. No problem. Let's get right into it. What was the reason why you wanted to become a coach?
That's a great question. I had a great high school coach in Tony Reginelli. I was able to play in a really great era at Newman football with, Peyton Manning back in the day when we kind of changed the trajectory a little bit, and then was a captain with Frank Jandusa. And, it really was my mentors, Buddy Tevens, God bless his soul, who recruited me, was so instrumental in my development, showing me the right way to do things. And, I loved it. I was able to, walk on at Tulane, good enough to get a scholarship and maybe get a letter, but I'd about my teammates probably stopped me about there. I was a lot more heart than maybe ability, but no, it just felt like the right thing to do. I love kids. I love the sport. And, I think it's all about making a difference in kids' lives. I think that trophies, wins are great, but I'm just trying to be a positive influence and hopefully help them along the way. And it really was that simple for me. And when I called Frank Jandusen, I went over in 2000, never in a million years. I think it'd be the year 25 years, 18 years a head coach, but I guess it's the way it worked. I've been very blessed and I just had great mentors, but no, I just try and do it the right way. But it's been really neat at my alma mater as well, obviously.
This program that you have, you built it to where it's one of the most consistent programs year in, year out, plus going to the semifinals a few times. How are you and your staff able to keep Isidore Newman football consistent?
Well, I think first it starts with the kids. We're a K through 12 school, and I'm fortunate a lot of these kids, you get to I still love doing lower school PE. It's like kindergarten cop, but whether it's Arch Manning, Hyde Manning, Eli Friend, a lot of our guys, I get to meet them when they're 4 or 5 years old and, get to, go along the way. So, no, I think that, it starts there with the kids. I've had a great staff, and I think you have to constantly evolve. That's the biggest thing. I think that, you're every year there's something new. You have to reapproach things differently, whether, you're a bigger team, a faster team. You have to learn a lot of different things. Just in terms of you can't just be one thing anymore. You can't just be spread offense or one thing. You have to constantly evolve. You have to go to clinics and learn. And I've been able to work with great coaches. I think I give all this credit to our staff. We have a great defense coordinator, great special teams, great assistants. Fortunately, a lot of our guys have moved up the ladder, which is what you want. And I think that it's just attention to detail. And someone asked me, there are no days off. It never ends. It's a year-round thing. Whether it's your off season, your January conditioning, you just can't let yourself relax. I think it's just a never-ending quest to get better. And I think that's the biggest thing in this profession I've learned is you have to constantly grow, evolve, adapt. And that's been my mindset. You look, we lost some phenomenal players last year. We were able to, redo it this year based on our strengths. We've got great student athletes and just have to keep working. So I really believe that. I think that's what it is. You can't just be one thing. And, hopefully if I'm blessed to do this in another few years, you talk to me in 5 years, I'll adapt even more. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Your team this year is 9-0. What makes them different from the team you had last year?
Well, I think that we've got, 18 really strong seniors, and we're really solid in all three phases. We obviously last year had very explosive offensive players, and, something like Arch, you could, throw the ball anywhere, make you right, do those things. I think that, this year is all about being getting better, complete team. We have a tremendous focus on special teams. We dedicate an entire day. We break it into morning and afternoons on Wednesdays. Play great team defense. We want all our guys to know how to do it the right way, run to the football. And I think that from an offensive perspective, I think it's been the ability to run and throw. You have to be balanced. And then on me managing the football game, I think we preach it to our kids. We preach selflessness. It's not about any individuals. We've been so fortunate, as Newman football to have so many great players, individuals have gone to great things, but it really is about the team, building it up front, good attention to detail, and just selflessness. I think that's the biggest thing. We really preach that. We talk about it. We don't talk about individual honors and accolades, and the kids love each other. They work hard. We had to, I tell you, the heat, and I've seen you guys talk about it. It was really hard in August. From August 1st all the way through September. We practiced every day at 6 a.m. Until the healthcare and our trainers told us that we could go late. I think that instilled a lot of discipline and love in our kids. We still able to go early, and we just never missed time. So kids have bought in, staff have bought in, and I really am just an extension of them. And it's just a great group. And I was, I guess, many years ago, it seems like forever ago, I was on the team after Peyton. I remember that was like when like somebody tells you the sky's falling. And I think our kids have set us up for success. Played a very hard schedule, and when you play a schedule like we do, you just can't take any days off. You have to, work hard, never get too high, never get too low, and just, be even keel. And for whatever reason, it's been the fastest year I've ever coached. I told Wayne Stein the other day in our one conversation of the week that, I don't know how we're here this fast, but no, it's a great time. It's an exciting time to be undefeated going against a program like, St. Charles. Wayne Stein's one of my best friends in the world. He probably don't want his players to know that, but I tell my guys that, we came up together. They do it the right way. It's what high school football is all about. You got to go and really compete in a real tough environment. So I just give all the credit to kids. It's been a great ride, and just credit to others for it.
You talk about your players. Eli Friend. I saw Eli play in 7-on-7, and I was like, this guy's gonna be special. But talk about your bond with your quarterback, Eli Friend.
Yeah, no, you just said it. He really is special. I think that was one of the things that I was so excited about. That I remember in pre-K, the first day he ever picked up a football. I was classmates with his mom. Forever ago, and I texted a picture, said hands off. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a tough odyssey, but they've trusted me and worked through it. And I think that I think with Eli, he's so many times nowadays that everybody wants to get things fast and be blessed, humbled to announce here I have this. He knew he had to wait. That was never really in question. I think he was an undefeated middle school quarterback. Did the same thing in JV. Last year was really hard for him because he was too athletic not to play quarterback. So he was a linebacker, H-back, running back. We didn't really get much work at quarterback. So I had a good feeling about him. Mentally, he's very strong. I think that after the season, he was throwing in January. We met on Saturdays. A lot of times just he and I throwing in nets. I won't lie. I pretend like I was a former All-State wide receiver. I was a lineman, so I tell him I could catch it, but I'm not going to run. But we set nets up all over. He threw it. He set up time with his wide receivers. He put the work in, and I think he's one of those young men that he'll make you right. He understands coverages, conceptually what we want to do. We have a great league, as you alluded to, at 7-on-7, and that was a great thing. When you play Easton and Brother Martin, teams like that week in, week out, and they're going to give you those things. He improved. We looked at film, and we just have grown with him. When your first starts against Honda, that's a pretty tough ask, but he played fantastic. Whether Benton, Manny, we've kind of grown each week with him, and I just give him all the credit. He works hard. You make your play sheet every week. He comes in my office, looks at it, dots it, never wants to change anything, just wants to know what's there. It's his most exciting days tomorrow when we get to go through the openers. And I think the other thing is the ability to run the football. He's very physical. He deadlifts 600 pounds. He lifts with the lineman. He's about 200 pounds. He had a great stroke, throws the ball well. It's good, quick release. And, I think that in today's day and age with defenses, especially play the St. Charles of the world and whatnot, you can't just stand back there and just think you can throw it. You got to, use the run game, extend things. And his football IQ is really good. He understands. He only had 2 turnovers this year. So, no, he's been fantastic. He's more than just a program guy. I think he has a chance to play at the next level. I really do. So, just his hard work, determination, phenomenal parents and family. And, he is like that. The reason you do it, it's not often you lose number one quarterback in the country and you get that excited to coach the next one. But I've been blessed. So he's been great for us.
Go ahead, VK.
Man, Coach Stewart, man, definitely appreciate you, man. I tell you, I know this has been one of your toughest weeks, maybe one of your toughest of your career. You've really taken this game very, very seriously. So we thank you so much. I gotta ask you first, which offensive players have been doing what they can to take some pressure off of Eli Friend?
Well, one, again, I really do appreciate y'all having me. I'm not good at 100 miles an hour all the time, but I love doing this, sit in my living room. I just be able to talk football. So please, anytime. But no, we've had a really good array of talented players. Peter Luke, guys, you may have heard of Peter Luke and Anthony Jones have been, fantastic on the outside, knocking the coverage off, working, middle of the field, outside. They have great speed. They're able to, do choice routes, sit down, whatnot, be able to expand things with them. Will Orzel, our big tight end, is a South Alabama commit. He's 6'6", 250, real fluid athlete, catches everything you throw at him. He does such a good job in the run game. I give him so much credit. One of our best players, Jake Randall, who's back, had been out. My crazy had put him, old Will in the backfield, and he ran a little bit. He did great. So Will's been a real steady presence. George Loop, DJ Thomas has been fantastic also. We've had really good ball distribution. That's a real big thing for us. We don't want to have one guy. I mean, even back when the dark age we had Odell Beckham, I used to say that, but I was probably wrong. I probably should have thrown it to him more. But we have a good array of talent. So ball distribution's been good. Jake Randall, has been such a good runner receiver. That's Will Randall's little brother, obviously went to Texas. Last week he was able to, catch some wheel routes out of the backfield, and even he's covered. So, those guys from a skill position perspective, and we love our guys up front. Brandon Wilkins has been phenomenal as a center. That was our big move. He's a big defensive tackle. I think he's an all-state caliber center, 300 pounds, 6'2". I call him the dancing bear. He's great feet. He's just when you can block a nose, that's important. Our tackles, I think, Brett Bordelon, LSU commit. He's a 5-star. He's all everything. I mean, I don't know. He's 6'6", 300 pounds. He can do handstands. He can bench almost 400 pounds. He's a big squatter. He's physical. He's athletic. And then Hyde Manning. You hear so much about Arch. I'll tell you what, Hyde, he's 220 pounds. He's 6'2". He dropped his 40 from a 5'6" to a 5 flat. He can, jump on boxes. He's a great lacrosse player, very explosive. And so he's a quick tackle. He can pull. I think those three have really helped. We've had a lot of guys at guard. They've done great for us. Griffin Matchell, Jecto Castillo, Marcel Tiando. But, it's been a really full buy-in. And when you see them work together, just a camaraderie, and all the ways we've had to win. It's not just you can just line up and just throw it. You got to be patient. Really work hard blocking the fronts, making gap scheme adjustments, and then not being greedy. And we talk about that, being selfless. There's some nights where Peter Loop, when I had 3 catches for 120 yards, and it's Anthony the next week, then Will Orzel, George Loop past 2 weeks has caught some vertical routes, and DJ. I think that's a key to, being an effective offense is, making, really attacking the whole field and, putting as much in your, array of weapons as possible. And the kids have really bought into that. And, I just give all credit to him. But it's been fun. They've really all played a part in this.
Well, I know this week, what's been your big approach for this team going into St. Charles? I know St. Charles has been a little bit of a thorn to your side and having your number a bit. But but at the same time, what's been the approach of your team this week and how they have been preparing? Because this is going to be huge for y'all, and also what it would mean for your team to get a huge win. And this was coming from one of our comments. They're also saying what is the big key for y'all to come back home with a big win Friday night in St. Charles?
Well, you got to go through it. What our perspective is one, focus on ourselves. You have to correct the mistakes from last week and don't make the game bigger than it is. It's a huge game, but you can't be overly emotional. You have to be focused. You have to be physical, good attention to detail. At least in the past few years, this game typically comes down to 4 or 5 plays. You never know what's going to come. So, really looking at the little things on every special teams unit, really looking at, from an offensive perspective, looking at your offensive line, making sure they understand and respect the opponent. Look, when you add in, I think that, what they do offensively, they're so explosive. They're way different. I think they're really good on offense. They can knock the top off. Ty Monica is phenomenal. He, run the ball between the tackles. Throws it vertically. Jason Brown defensively makes you prepare for so much. It can be overwhelming. And then you add in the special teams. You have to just absolutely be relentless in your preparation in all 3 phases. You cannot over-focus on one thing. And then you have to add in that you really don't know what's coming. Coach Stein and I joke all the time every year. It's like, okay, what's this going to be? But both staffs going to put a lot into it. We all worked all day Sunday. I'm sure we did. But, if you get too emotional, you can deflate and get out of it. So I think that's the first part. I think that, going to St. Charles, we haven't been there, 5 years since, before COVID. And Arch and those guys are freshmen. And, again, end of the game, one of those things, a snap and this, and it got away. But they had a lot to do with that. And then past few years went Southeastern, against probably the best defense I've ever seen that they had, and they won it with a 300-pound nose guard that we still haven't blocked, and stack linebacker, and they did a good job. And then you get to last year, when they just got hot. They lost a few games, and quarterback Altamont came in and they did that. I think you have to respect them and know that. And in saying all those things, what would it mean? I think it would mean a lot in terms of our growth and where we are at this point. When you play in Week 10, when you play the number one team in the state, to me, you hear about others. To me, look, they're the two-time defending state champ. Till they aren't holding that trophy, they're the favorite. So, that's the highest compliment I can give. I think they're better than they were last year at this point. They would say that. I hope we are. And I think you just have to know, if you do, it says you've made a lot of strides. And if you're able to win, that means you beat a great football team that, shows you that the work put in. But the end, either way, it's not the end for either program. We're both going to be top three with the schedules we played. So with your kids, if you aren't able to, hey, you're going to be all right. But you got to put everything you have into it. You got to compete at the highest level, embrace the challenge. We challenge our kids out today. Look, embrace this, get after it. And, I just have so much respect for Coach Stein, what he's done, what he's continued to build off Coach Monica. And when you respect someone that much in a program like that, you have to work tirelessly, relentlessly, and just harp on your kids. Look, even if you're up, you're never all the way up. And even if you're down, you can't emotionally go here. So I try and stay here. Look, it'll be a great environment. Wayne is said, the stands are going to be full. Unfortunately, it's not going to be streamed. I think you have to go to see it. You learned that from the Godfather, Coach Monica. You have to go there. That's their gate. But this is what it's all about. This is what, high school football is. You got to live for it. You got to embrace it. And we'll see what happens. But it would mean a lot. It would be a big step for our program. We beat them a few years ago. And that year actually led to us in a tight one to LCA that was probably the closest since 91. We'd come to getting to the state championship. So, it would be a big moment, but it's going to take a lot to get there. And I guess I'll process it. If the horn sounds and we're able to come out on top, you'd really appreciate it, because you got to play all 4 quarters every second.
I'm actually just one more thing and give it to George Peppers. And I know you mentioned about Brandon Wilkins. Big shout out to him. I know his dad very, very well. Me and him went to school together. So, it's unbelievable what he's doing this year. I'm actually this before I give it to George Peppers. I wanted to see last season. It was a lot. There was a lot with the Mannings and everything, and Arch and all that stuff, and the season y'all had this season. And no knocking Arch Manning. Shout out to him. He's at Texas. What do you think about this season? Do you think this season has been more of a lift for your team more than anything else, that take some pressure off, and not just that makes your team maybe rise a little more to the occasion, and not just that, a lot more improvements and more of a team that's more focused and straightforward?
Well, first, as you alluded to, I think Arch is in the right spot. I'm really proud of him. He's at Texas. He's learning, coaching with Coach Sark. I think this is the course they wanted for him to, I don't know how it was. I can't imagine people at 18 years old, the spotlight, every pass, every play, and kids can't do it by themselves. So I think, my job was to do all I could for Arch and his development and let him have the high school experience. So, I love him. I think the world of him, so I think that the first thing is that was a generational thing. When your post game is spent trying to usher him out of the stadium and autographs, and we pull up somewhere, and it was a huge job. And you add in the college coaching ranks, it was 99% of my day was trying to preserve this young man to have an experience. I could write a book, which I wouldn't, but it was unbelievable. And I do think he had good teammates last year that really rallied around him. I think that going through the schedule, look, we got to the quarterfinals. When it ended, I always, for all of our kids, hope they had a good experience. And I just think it's a little more like high school this year. We're able to, we don't need the coverage. ESPN and those things are nice, but if you're going to be a high school football coach, you can't do it for that. So I think so. I think that, the team loved Arch. You still have Hyde, and there's nothing but love in our heart for him. But no, I think nobody was really talking about us, which I understood, going into the year. One of those things where maybe a little bit of how can you even do it? We just never listened to it. We just focused on getting better. And, kids like Brandon, Brandon Wilkins, deadlifts 650 pounds. He's got great feet. He's one of those kids. We don't have kids like that very often. So they dedicated themselves to the weight room. You hear all about, 7-on-7 this, we did way more work in the weight room than anything else. We appreciate 7-on-7, but it's touch football. And so we didn't get lost in that. We just focused on the weight room, building our line, and I just try and manage the game. It's not about style points and whatnot. When you have a player like Arch, the spotlight of percentage and yards and all that, which I understand, we just trying to win. But yeah, it's been nice, but I give credit to the kids. And it was a journey, but it was my journey to try and help get him. We did. Arch will be great. I think he's going to do well, but it's been a nice surprise. And I think all the kids, you can feel it in the meetings. Everybody's really enjoying playing high school football. That's the beauty of it. When you hit the sweet spot, there's nothing better. So it's been great. But yeah, it was different, but I'm not complaining. That was my job to get through it. We got through it, and hopefully he and Will Randall have phenomenal, careers at Texas. But my job's this Newman team, and trust me, I can't think about it too much because the more we watch St. Charles, the more you got to watch them again and again. But no, it's been a great year.
George Peppers.
Coach Stewart, first off, let me thank you as well, speaking on behalf of my co-host, and joining us. And look, I feel your passion, when you want to talk about football, and that's what we do. We love it, and I'm happy that you're with us tonight in advance of such a huge game against St. Charles. So in that, just want to thank you, and also just want to say that I really honestly am not surprised at where you guys are at. In the preseason, I thought that the specter of the ESPNs of the world leaving you guys and allowing you and your team to grow has put you in this position. So I feel like I'm not really surprised that where you're at right now. But my first question to you, the schedule you played this year, it is a tough schedule. Many has gone on some wins. Benton and other teams that you've played have been really good. How has that schedule prepared yourself for this year's clash against St. Charles?
Well, I think it's prepared us, tremendously. And you talk about St. Charles, talk about Frank Monica. One of the biggest things he advised me of when he retired was, he said, you never get better at just hitting BP. You got to learn it. And I've always kind of, done that. And obviously you can't be reckless in your scheduling. I think that, we did it against teams that hopefully we'd have a chance. I think that it's helped us tremendously. I look at, two of our previous wins against, De La Salle and Belle Chase, without arguably our best player in Jake Randall, were able to win because I think we'd been through adversity, come back. You need to know how to come back from behind. You need to know what it's like to see guys up front that are so big and physical and win a variety of ways. So, no, I think it's helped us. And, inevitably, not just this week, when you get to playoffs, I tell you what, Division III, you get to quarterfinals, it's unbelievable. I mean, there's schools all over. So, at least I'll know that, we've done our best to give our kids those chances so they won't be overwhelmed. But, no, it's been tremendous. We played such a variety of schools. Hahnville, River Parish Power, Manny, who, my goodness, they have athletes all over, and really jammed us, played man. Riverside Academy was phenomenal. Obviously, possibly I think could go to Division IV championship, and then working our way through De La Salle, who they just got caught in a bad rut with guys. That's a great football team, and my goodness, they get in the playoffs. You're not going to want to play them, and they all came together. And Belle Chase, as good of a defense as we saw tonight, we lost Randall. Found a way to win in double overtime with Eli's legs. And, we've had some good wins in district. And but no, against St. Charles, if you don't, you won't know what that speed's like. And I still don't know if you can replicate what St. Charles does, but at least you'll know you've tried. So, no, it's been great for us. I think it's getting our kids confidence. And we had so much respect for all of our opponents. And even going to Northern Louisiana, we went all the way to Shreveport on a Thursday. I talked about little moments. We warmed up in a field off to the side because they had some big show, and there was a horse show going on. There were no lights, and there's a little toughness there. You're like, whatever. We adapt and try and conquer it. So, no, it's helped us, and, it's worked out. So, no, we're last year going in, we didn't have this record, so I think maybe we've gotten a little better. So, yeah, it's been really good for us.
How has the buzz been around this week around Newman in advance of this game with the students, the faculty, the alumni? What's the enthusiasm? Obviously, the enthusiasm level is high, but what's the buzz been around the school? And how's the ticket sales been for you guys going up there?
Well, the buzz has been off the charts. I mean, everybody gets excited. I think especially when maybe not a surprise when, I've had, people come and goes, this has just been so wonderful to go. Just, it's almost been, when you build your own expectations and you win week in, week out, and, going to St. Charles. No, it's so much so that we tell our kids not to really hopefully listen to it and get caught up in it. But no, everybody's excited. They're excited about our program. Volleyball players are starting. They're great 1C with Colleen Lorzell and those guys. We're real big on multi-sport and, embracing that. But no, it's a huge game. I think the kids know it. 7 o'clock we put on, we were out in 40 degrees practicing today. Every kid was, out there rolling, and they were on time for afternoon meetings, and they're dialed in. They're excited, and I think the community is. And like I said, I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. So no, enthusiasm definitely is there. There's definitely a buzz about our program, but like we tell them, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to work hard. And no, we've gotten a lot of support this year. So very fortunate, blessed. We had against MLK, senior night, Big B, homecoming king. He was interesting with a hat and a scepter, but he looked good. But it was a great week last week. Good crowd, played well. So, it is. We're all excited. I am too. My wife just remembers me. I got to sleep sometimes. I'm doing my best. But, I think everybody's excited.
Yeah. What's the most underrated aspect of your team? A lot of the pub has been about Eli Friend and your offense and your proficiency, but talk about an area of your team that not many people are going to really give a lot of credit to. What's the most underrated aspect of your football team?
Well, humbly, I think our special teams. We put, so much into that. We have a phenomenal kicker in Jacob Desansky. Without pulling it up, I mean, his touchback ratio is pretty spectacular. He's got a big leg. We're fortunate that's, he had to wait again. We had a great kicker in Kearney Neesit that left. So I think he's been great. Journey Manson and Eli's punters. I think our coverage has been great. We've really harped on that. I think that's been the biggest thing. We put so much time into it. So I think our special teams and, saying that for St. Charles, you have to go to a whole nother level. Our defense has been great. Obviously running the football well. A lot of those guys were fortunate we can platoon, but I think offense, defense, but I think our special teams really have done a good job giving us short fields, good coverages. And look, I've heard y'all say it before, but St. Charles, that's the weapon. And trust me, our kids, I think, are nauseous. They don't want to see one more St. Charles video clip of a kick return or a punt block, but they force you to do that. So hopefully that helps us out, but I think it's our special teams.
And what's it going to take to win this game Friday night at St. Charles against that opposition?
I think you're going to have to be complete in all three phases. It's not magic. You're not going to get lucky. If you think you can just go up and throw 50-50 balls, it's not going to happen. They make adjustments as quick as anyone. I think that you break it in all three phases. I think offensively, you have to be efficient. I think you have to, be smart, control the line of scrimmage, find a way to run the football. It's okay to punt, do those things. They do such a good job. If you get pinned watching it, it's a short field. It can be over fast, and that's Frank Monica 101. But I think that, being efficient, build your explosive, and defensively, you have to be sound in your gap integrity. They make you, defend so many things. I think you have to play great team defense, running the football, but along those lines, know your assignment, not be over aggressive. And then from a special team standpoint, you have to have great attention to detail. Like I said, 5 or 6 plays, and I could go through it, but it's amazing the amount of. I remember years ago, 2010, Odell Beckham. We thought we had him, and had one of those 200-yard nights, and literally it was an interception and a kick return. It was 14 points, and you're pinned. Like, that's the kind of thing and we relax a little. You can't relax. You just have to stay driven, and it just play. And our staff does a great job of that. I have a great staff. Don't remotely do it by myself, but Steve Victor, our special teams coach, Dustin Althank, our defense coordinator, Jason Matthews, our line coaches, they're on it. They're going to work really hard, but you can't relax. You have to be laser focused and just know it's going to be the hardest battle of your year, and you got to embrace that challenge, and you'll get better from playing them. But you got to embrace that and know it. So there's really not one thing, but I can tell you, if you overlook it, if you're looking too much at one thing, that's how you lose the game.
Last question before I turn it back over to our esteemed host. How does this game, the challenge of this game, set you up for the Division III playoffs and knowing the spectrum of what may await a team like a Calvary Baptist, a Dunham, teams like that? How does this game set you up for a playoff run?
I think it's a great question. It's something we actually talk to our kids about. When you play, and I say this from, I think Calvary Coach Gwynn does a phenomenal job. U High, we saw last year, phenomenal. When you talk about teams like that, I just have so much respect for Wayne Stein and what he does. I believe when you play the number one team, returning state champion, you're going to know where you are. You're going to be able to, regardless you get a bye, you're going to be able to look in the mirror and win or lose, correct things that you need to. And I know as a former player, the worst thing is when you never have to look in the mirror and see those cracks. So I think it's a chance to look at the cracks, fix them in what you can, so that if you're able to make the run and you see those, you'll know what you need to correct. So it is a win-win from that. You're going to know where you are. And, we challenge our kids at. So I think it sets you up so that when you do get to the next, and it could be St. Charles again, but, when you do get to that next level, you'll know they'll have exposed everything that you need to work on because of their attention to detail. So when you play champions, it helps you become one. So I think it'll really help us.
Coach Nelson Stewart, we want to thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it. Good luck this Friday night against St. Charles, and good luck to you and your team throughout the rest of the season.
Guys, again, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. We'll see what we can do. And thank y'all for your coverage of high school sports. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
My
Coach.
pleasure,
Appreciate
Coach.
it.
Thank y'all.
Mhm.
Coach Nelson Stewart of the Newman Greenies. Look, can't say anything bad about Coach Stewart. He has done a wonderful job at that school, and they are consistent throughout the playoffs. Usually get to the quarterfinals, a few semifinals appearances. They just never gotten over that hump yet. And I'm telling you guys, this Newman team, we talked a lot about Arch team last year. It didn't happen. It lost in the quarters. This Newman team is not being talked about much like Arch team last year. They're a quiet 9-0. A victory this Friday night over another undefeated team who's number one in the power rankings. Newman will be talked about by everyone throughout the whole state. Because there are a lot of people that are saying, oh, they don't have Arch. Nah, whatever. Nah, we ain't worried about them. They get this win Friday night, George Peppers. Now, every team in the Division III Select will be on alert if they can go into Laplace and get this win.
Mhm.
Your thoughts on the Newman Green?
Eyes wide open.
Yeah.
Eyes wide open if they win this game Friday night at St. Charles. And VK, we were there week 3, and that atmosphere is electric. That fan base is on point. I can guarantee it's going to be a packed house on both ends. Newman's bringing the cavalry; they're coming. And excuse the pun because Cavalry is the favorite in Division 3. But this Greenie team, I admire a lot. I wish there was a way to do the what Coach Stewart was talking about, but we're talking about gate. And hey, listen, I get it, totally understand it. Going to maximize the opportunity, but BK, if I'm with Jared, if Newman pops this one Friday night in that environment, what stops them? I mean, yeah, you got Calvary Baptist, but the momentum that would be generated from winning at St. Charles in Week 10 against a two-time reigning state champion, that will catapult this Newman team and give them huge momentum going into the playoffs.
That'll be big time momentum if Newman get this done Friday. It's gonna come down to the wire. If Newman does, yeah, there will be a big eye opener in Division 2. Will they leap to number 1? I don't think so. But if St. Charles does pull it off, I see them leaping Calvary to get number 1.
I think
Because
St.
the
Charles
fact
is
of the
number
matter
one.
is, actually they're number 2 right now. Calvary is number 1 in the
Yep,
power rankings.
by 2 points, 2 whole points. I don't think they'll jump them even if they win.
Okay.
By 2 whole points. But I think it does depend on the points. But at the same time, I will be a little surprised because of the fact of the matter is that we know what helps Calvary is that non-district, but the district sucks. Let's just be honest. It's not a good district,
It isn't.
and that's just what it is. And I think this district that St. Charles is in stomps it. So I will be a little surprised if Calvary still stays one if St. Charles wins it. Now Newman wins. I think Newman goes to 2. They won't jump Calvary. It won't be enough. But it'll be huge for Newman if they get it done on Friday night.
I'll say this. Newman wins or Newman loses close. Close. It's a hard fought battle. I think everyone's talking about Newman.
Agreed.
It's been a quiet year in my eyes with Newman. Not much being said under the radar. Not all the bright lights on Newman as they had last year. But I'm telling you, man, if Newman gets this win, watch out. Watch out, because momentum gonna be riding high throughout the playoffs for sure. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's going to happen. But the Division III Select, it's very competitive. You heard Coach Stewart mention Dunham, Calvary Baptist, ULab. It is very competitive. And we saw Dunham get to the championship last year against St. Charles. So we're not just saying, St. Charles, Newman, or Calvary's getting there this year. It's tough. Ain't that right, GP?
I don't think there's any question. I don't think there's any question how deep Division Three is. This is one of the playoff brackets that I'm looking so forward to covering because the depth in this Division Three is ridiculous. It's not top heavy. You can name, I'd say, what, 6 teams, maybe 7 teams, top 6, 7, that you can make a case for to go all the way to Poitras and play for a state title. That's how deep this division is. Surely, Cavalry has been anointed the favorite by some. St. Charles is a 2-time state champion. How do you go? How do you go against them? And based on what they've done, the preponderance of the schedule and some of the signature wins, Newman. Look what happens when ESPN's not in your wheelhouse. You can concentrate and you can focus, and that's the biggest thing for high school kids: focus. And they have been on point this year. St. Charles was in for a fight, a big fight. And look, I want to pay homage to a team that I covered for 12 years before I moved back to New Orleans, Bunkie High. They right now sit at number 8 in the power points. Only lost to a team that's number 1 in Division 3 non-select, Gina. They are the number 1 team in the power points in non-select. That team has been really, really good. They have a great offense. Who knows? Maybe they pop a run. But again, this just speaks to the depth of Division 3 BK, and I think this is one of the strongest divisions anywhere in the state.
This is going to be a great division. This, what I'm saying. I see. Maybe I could say 5 to 6. I say 3 definitely has a great chance to get there and win it. You know what I'm saying? The 3 I see that has the best chance to, like, there's a case for 6, but there's 3 I see has a great chance of taking that title home. That's Calvary Baptist, St. Charles, and Dunham. I can put in University in there a little bit because they have been battle tested all year long, and that's a team that can be dangerous. That's a team that can probably put a dent in somebody. They might could put a dent in maybe one of these top seeds. That team is dangerous. University might put a dent in somebody's season. So, but I think Calvary, St. Charles, and Dunham are my top 3.
I'm not telling you my top 4 for each division until the playoff brackets come out. When we get to the playoff brackets and we have that special show on Sunday, then I'll tell you for each one who I got going to the semis. Each one. And I want y'all to do the same.
Oh, we will. It's just a little something that I'm looking
at.
Oh
no, I got you. I'm saying
oh yeah. The real deal is gonna happen. It's gonna tell where things are gonna go.
Pick
on Sunday
who you
from
got
there.
going to the semis. That is what I want. Pick who you got going to the semis. Your 4 you think going to the semis. That's what time show starts Sunday. So let's do it right now. The brackets come out at 11 o'clock in the morning on YouTube. LHSAA. VK is working the Saints game at noon. So now, depends on what time VK can get home.
I'm like this, man. It might be at the. I'm like this, man. Can we start? Can we start the show at 6 p.m.?
Oh, perfect timing, my brother. 6 o'clock, Kenny. 6 o'clock, Kenny, Sunday. There you go. 6 o'clock Sunday.
And
We're gonna do.
you see, he asked.
Well, I mean,
You see that he asked you
he asked. I just asked him what time he thought. I asked for it.
exactly.
It's all
But
good.
I like that idea. 6 o'clock. I like
Yes,
it.
6 o'clock, and we'll go
Yes.
through the brackets, and then
Hmm.
we'll top our 14 that we think will get to the semifinals. Oh, I
And
can't
then
wait.
when we'll announce our state champion, our teams are
That
going to the
night.
state champion.
That
That
night.
same night. Okay. Didn't I thought you were going to just the semis, but I get what you're talking about.
I kind of do want to do just the semis, and then when we get to the semis, then pick who we got going to state. Kind of want to change it up a little bit.
Okay. That sound like a winner to me.
Yeah,
Keep the fans intrigued.
yeah, yeah.
Tease,
Say about
baby.
that,
That's what
George.
we do. Tease. I
Yes, sir.
like it. I'm good with it. And I see how emphatic you are with Division Three semis because, like we said, it's going to be the toughest one to pick. Because, like as mentioned, VK mentioned University, Dunham, obviously St. Charles. I mean, I'm surprised he doesn't have Newman there. I mean, I look. You want to find this? You want?
I think Newman. I think to be honest, Newman can be there. You know what I'm saying?
You
I,
worried
I,
about the pedigree, right?
it ain't about the pedigree. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact
Hmm.
when you looking at teams. I'm looking at teams that have been experience wise, been there, done that. But then a team like University, you see the schedule and the wins they got. They copped some good teams. They copped some good teams. I'm saying if that's a team that I'm scared to death to play, that's the team.
All
But
right.
Newman, I'm telling you, they could make a good run this year, and I can definitely say that. If they have a like I agree with Jared, if they win or if they have a close game against, I think that game's gonna go down the wild Friday night.
All right. Now we got to move on.
Yes.
Our next guest, he is the head coach of the Acadiana Wrecking Rams, and he's also a two-time state champion, winning titles in 2019 and 2020. Head coach of the Acadiana Wrecking Rams, Coach Matt McCullough. Coach, how you doing? And thank you for joining us.
Doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it so much. Coach, I did not know that you were the head baseball coach at Acadiana at first. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was the head baseball coach for the first 3 years I got back to Acadiana. My dad was a baseball coach for a long time. He was a baseball coach from like 1981, I think, all the way to 2012 or 13. So, but when I came back, I was the head baseball coach for 3 years while Coach Davidson was the head coach and then took over football.
Coach Davidson retired in 2018. You took over. How has it been coaching for your alma mater, football wise?
Well, it's been good. I grew up at Acadiana. My dad got there in '81, the year I was born. So, I really enjoyed it. Of course, the ability to win, of course, the ability to have a lot of kids that are from the same community that I grew up in. So, it's a great place, and I really enjoy being back over there.
What are some of the things you learned from Coach Ted Davidson?
Well, we use a lot of the stuff that Coach Davidson, even Coach Dotson used as far as our stuff offensively, our O line technique, just hard nosed practices, being physical. A lot of the things that we do today comes from Coach Davidson, Coach Dotson, and all the guys that were there before us.
Your team 7-2, two tough losses, one to Lafayette Christian and one to John Curtis. Talk about how your team has been able to bounce back the way that they have from those two losses.
Yeah, we played pretty well at times. We Lafayette Christian was early in the year. The Curtis game, we just didn't play very well. And of course, they're a good football team, but I thought we played well. The last 3 or 4 weeks besides the Curtis game, I think we've improved a bunch from the start of the year. So, we've got Barb tomorrow night, but for the most part, we've played pretty well, and we improved a bunch, and hopefully we continue to do so. And of course, when we get to week 11, 12, give us a chance to make a run and win some football games.
Most definitely. How impressed were you last week with your team with the win over your rivals, Karen Crow, in a hard fought matchup?
I thought we played extremely hard. That game had a lot of adversity. We had some penalties early that called back a punt that we ran back for a touchdown. We had a big 80-yard run that was called back early in the game. There was a bunch of different things that I thought our kids fought. We got down 13-0. Kids fought back and went ahead, got up 21-20, and then they were able to score, and we fought back and made a play at the end of the game to win the game. So, I thought we played extremely hard. Karen Crow's a good football team. They played extremely hard. But I was proud of our guys with how much adversity we faced in that game to be able to continue to play and make some plays late to win the game.
Before I pass it on to VK, I watched the Acadiana YouTube page, and I like how you set goals for your team and keep them motivated at the task at hand. How are you able to do that?
Well, we've got. I mean, it's tough. Consistency is the key. We do a lot of the things the same each week and make sure no matter who we're playing, we prepare the same way. We got simple goals. We want to win a district championship. We want to have a chance to win the state championship. But consistency in the way we practice. We do a lot of the same things Monday through Thursday, and our kids get used to it and preparing so that we have a chance to win games.
VK.
Coach McCullough, man, we appreciate you joining us, man. You know what I'm saying? I admire your program, how it's been going so well week in, week out every year, especially under Coach Davidson and now under yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have you on. First of all, I gotta ask you, it wasn't just like bouncing back like during the season, but couple years been kind of tough, but seemed like you guys really have rose up this year, playing really, really tough. Do you think the seniors have really stepped in for you and felt like, hey, we're not about to be pushed around this year. You're gonna respect us, or we're gonna have to check you. What the seniors, what they meant to you this season? Because it seemed like they really took some hard hits, but now this year they're bringing the hits to these opponents this year.
Yeah, the senior group had a really good offseason, takes a lot of pride in their leadership. We won the state championship in 19 and 20, when those kids were younger. And then we got beaten in the state championship, in the semifinals in 21, and we were young last year and didn't do quite as well. So they want to take some pride in getting us back to where they feel like we should be. They had a great offseason. We don't have a bunch of seniors, but we've got a couple guys on offense and defense that have been really did a really good job of leading the team, and they've been some of our best players throughout the year.
Absolutely. Man, but looking at your career more than anything else, this is your this is your school and everything, your alumnus. Very few, you know, coaches come back to their alma mater and come home and play and everything else. How did your dad and Coach Davidson prepare you for this position right here to lead this Acadiana Wrecking Rams football team?
Well, of course, I was around it for a long time. Then I played at Acadiana. And then I was able to come back 3 years and work with Coach Davidson under Coach Davidson before he retired. So, I've also worked at some different places where some guys where I coach with really good coaches that have taught me stuff over the years, including my father. So, just a bunch of different things and just what it takes, or at least the way we attack practice, the way we do things to try to win games. But yeah, over the years they've taught me a bunch of things that we still do today, and it's a big part of giving us a chance to win games and making our kids tougher and more physical.
And it seemed like it's almost like your program kind of reminds me a little bit of John Curtis, the way you run your offense or more of a faster type mode with your option, and it has not changed since you have taken over. And it seemed like that it's the bread and butter of Acadia and the Wrecking Ram football.
Yeah, physicality, being able to, we've run the veer since Coach Dotson put it in. I think it was like in 73 or 74. So we've been running for a long time. And, we may do a few different things, but for the most part, we run the same offense. And, the ability to do certain things up front is always a key for us also.
Well, I got it. Well, let me ask you this about this whole not to the fact of your program, how this program has really got Southwest Louisiana on a map, but talk about that whole area. You look at how Karen Crow, how LCA has grown, how Southside, all these other schools in the area. I tell you that Acadia and the Lafayette area look like it's the place to be these days in the state, and how good that football is, huh, Coach?
Yeah, well, Lafayette area has a bunch of really good football teams. I think in 2020 we had 4 state champions from Lafayette, us, Karen Crow, LCA, and STM. Every year we've got some teams that are competing in different divisions with the chance to win state championships. So yeah, no, we've had we have a bunch of real good football teams right now, and I think there's a lot of really good football players in Lafayette.
Actually, one last question. I'm gonna give it over to George Peppers. Um, going into, you got to get through Bob this week, but going into the postseason, Division 1, do you think it's one of the maybe toughest divisions in the state? Because there's a lot of real good teams going into postseason.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think Division 1, and also on the other side, select and non-select are the 2 toughest divisions. They have a bunch of teams on both sides that can beat you. So I think the higher division on both sides is probably 2 toughest divisions in the state.
George Peppers. Go ahead,
Coach
George.
McCullough, first of all, thank you for taking the time. I'm here. First of all, Coach McCullough, thank you for taking the time to join us on a busy week, obviously in advance of the game tomorrow night against Barb. We thank you for the opportunity. First question I have for you, the schedule you mentioned, and I really want to kind of highlight a few of the games: Lafayette Christian, Curtis, and Karen Crow. Could if you how could I ask it? Who is the best team you played on your schedule this year through 9 games? Out of and those 3 games highlighted because those are the teams that are the highest regarded.
Yeah, I mean, against us, LCA and Curtis, of course, play really good football. I don't know who the best one is, but I know all 3 of those teams can play. They all are sound on offense and defense. They're coached well. Um, you know, I think all 3 of those teams are really good football teams.
With such a dramatic win against Karen Crow last week, you mentioned Coach, you had the fast start, and Karen Crow made the surge, and you guys came back with another surge. Short week, a team that, quite honestly, you're probably favored to beat. How do you guard against a little bit of a letdown against a team like Barb that has not been what they used to be?
But yeah, you talk about it and make sure they understand that this is a game that if they don't prepare properly for, that you get beat in. And we actually saw it last year. We beat Canco by 1 point last year in week 9 and went over to Barb and didn't play real well and had to score late to beat them by a point over there at Barb. So our guys kind of felt that last year, and I think they've done a better job in the 3. It was a quick week, but the 3 days that we were able to get in what we need to get in. So the goal is to hopefully make sure we go out there tomorrow night and play well. But we've talked about it, and I think our guys understand that.
For the novices that are, I don't want to say new to the game, but that don't appreciate. See, I'm appreciative of physicality and old school football. Talk about the difficulties of defending the veer offense. You guys run the veer at Acadiana. Um, Talk about the difficulties and and pretty much the precision you have to have.
Well, you have to be real sound on defense. You have to play your assignment. You have to be gap sound. You got to be physical because we're going to run the football and do a bunch of things, but you also have to be disciplined enough to make sure that you don't get caught up and get beat deep in the passing game. So there's a lot of things that makes the defense have to be fundamentally sound. They're not able to blitz as much and do some things that they like to do against some of those spread teams. That's the biggest deal. You also have to be able to run the offense soundly to be able to do that against real good football teams.
And it seemed like you hit your bottom point against John Curtis a couple of weeks ago, and you really have bounced back since. Where do you feel? How do you assess your team through 9 games, and obviously the one more against Barb? Where do you feel like your team is at as you head into the state playoffs?
I think we're playing the best football we have. We played pretty well the last 2 weeks. We didn't play very well against Curtis. That's my fault. I don't think we prepared as well that week. But I think we're much better than we were in week 1. We've improved a bunch. A bunch of guys are starting to understand everything. And if you can get to that point of the year when you guys are getting better like that, then you got a chance when you get to the playoffs.
This question before I turn it back over to our host here, JB. Um, Obviously, the ceiling is the state championship, but what's the goal for Acadiana going into these playoffs? What's the ceiling for Acadiana with the team you have? You mentioned you don't have many seniors on this team, but what's the goal for this team getting into the playoffs?
Well, the goal is always to win a state championship.
Of course.
This group I think can play with anybody if they play well. And I think at times we have played really well in some games. We're just going to have to do that when we get to the playoffs. Our guys have done really well over the years of playing really well when we get late in the season. So the goal is to hopefully have a chance to make a run, and it's always at Acadiana a chance to try to win the state championship.
Mhm.
Coach Matt McCullough, good luck to you Friday night, and good luck to you throughout the postseason.
Tomorrow
Thank you
night.
for joining us. We're glad to have you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
And correction, that game is tomorrow night against Barb, Thursday night. Thank you, George GP. Appreciate it.
Hey, gotta pick it up, man.
Look, Coach Matt McCullough, one of the best coaches in the state, hands down. Took over a program, got 2 state titles off the back, got to the semifinal, and lost a close one to Ponchatoula in 2021. And look, guys, they lost to Lafayette Christian, they lost to Curtis, but they have picked up every week from that loss and gotten better and better and better. And you saw it last week against Karen Crow, when many people said Karen Crow was going to win. Many people saying Karen Crow was the best team in the state. We heard a lot of talk about Karen Crow. Acadiana shut that noise down. Because I, for one, would never, ever say Acadiana get beat by this and beat by that, no matter who they played. Even though they lost to Curtis by 28 and they lost to LCA by a lot. But I don't care. That is one team. And I promise that's one team. When people see those brackets Sunday morning, they hoping they're not in that bracket with Acadiana, VK.
Did you pick Acadiana last week?
I don't remember, man. I
don't think
remember.
you did.
Go ahead, though. Go ahead with my question, man.
Yeah. But I'm agree with you. I was just playing with you because I know you speaking high of them. I would speak high of them too. But last week was last week. We did pick Karen Crow, but they have proven a lot, and I like the question. And I appreciate Coach answering that question when I said that this team is more of a team that's going to fight you all the way to the end. These are not These are not the Acadiana the last couple of years. Especially last year and whatever. Because I said it myself, there were a couple of times they got popped and shut out, and I was like, if you're gonna get Acadiana, you better get them this year. Because next year, they're not going to take this. They're going to bring the fight to the doorstep, and that's what they've been doing this season. And I like what Coach McCullough is doing with them. They're going to be that's a team that's going to be dangerous in Division 1. They're like University in Division 3. They have a chance to pop some teams, especially in the top rankings, man. So if they it depends on where they are. If they in some kind of, I'm like, look out, man. They could pop a top team, a number 1 or number 2 that could shake some real things up in Division 1.
I'll say this, man. If you ever watch Acadiana YouTube page and you listen to Matt McCullough, Coach Matt McCullough talk, he set small goals. Of course, that long-term goals of winning state is there, but he set these short-term goals and does a great job of keeping these kids motivated and focused at the task at hand, GP.
I don't think there's any question. Acadiana looks like this is a big bounce back. 22 seemed like an anomaly for them last year. They weren't
very
the
odd.
typical.
You don't see that much.
They weren't the wrecking Rams that we knew and we know and we understand. The Karen Crow win, and VK, you gonna pick on Jen? You can pick on me too, because I pick Karen Crow. Go ahead, I'll take that. I'll take that L, but it's okay. But that's a 1-point game that finished a 1-point game in favor of the Wrecking Rams, and that was And look, Karen Crow's not in the same division when we get to the playoffs because I think they're in the select section,
That's
correct?
correct.
They were number one in the select division until Acadiana nipped them last week. With that said, when you look at the record Rams and their prospects in D1 non-select, you're looking at, of course, the defending champions, Destrehan. You're looking at Zachary. West Monroe could make a run. They've really put the Todd Garvin thing. It looks like they've put the Todd Garvin controversy behind them. Um, teams like that, and you never know. I mean, Acadiana could be one of those teams that'd be lying in the
Wait,
weeds.
wait.
West Monroe is
Oh,
in
I'm interrupted.
non-select. Acadiana is select.
Acadiana is select.
Yeah, Acadiana is
Acadiana
select.
Are they?
and Karen Crow is in
Oh,
select.
I thought they were non-select. Okay, I stand
No,
corrected.
they're select.
All right, you interrupted me, Jared. Man, I feel hurt. Okay, um, but no, Acadiana. Okay, all right, I stand corrected then. Deal with the teams that they deal with is select. I mean, Curtis, Carr, Karen Crow, them. I mean, there's gonna be some problems, But that team, capability wise, guys, they're capable of playing with anybody. But Coach McCullough said something interesting that they got to be on point. That it feels like the margin of error is still not what it needs to be for them. You read between the lines of some of his answer in that answer. I feel like he feels like there's not much room for error because they're so young. There's not many seniors. So if they line up against an end of Carr in the playoffs, how do they look against a team that if Carr shows up fully focused, you would imagine the Cougars are favored in a prospective matchup like that. So, but Acadiana is going to be a problem for some teams in the playoffs. Do I think they're state championship worthy? Things got to break a little bit. Things got to break that for that to happen. It's not saying they can't, but they're going to need a little bit of Brother Martin esque luck. And I saw through the many comments we've gotten, Reggie Johnson is posting that Brother Martin was going to win Division One this year. What are we betting, Reggie? That's what I want to know.
Oh boy! All right, all
What are
right.
we betting?
We're gonna stop it right there.
Yes.
Quick commercial break. When we come back, we doing our picks. Doing our picks for week 10, and we're gonna talk about the top 5. A little shake up in the top 5 with all 3 of us. But what was the biggest shake up? We'll find out when we come back. Right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Damn.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. The Hash It Out Show game of the week is the South Plaquemines Hurricanes versus the Jefferson Rise. And that game is for the what?
Blazers.
Trailblazers. Oh, my bad. I knew that. The Jefferson Rise Trailblazers, as they will play for the district championship this Friday night. VK Jones and George Peppers with the call. Now, George Peppers, Reggie say he'll bet you 20 right here. You heard me,
Got
George?
Brother Martin. So I hear. I'm debating because I want to know if he's going to give me the field and he could have Brother Martin. That's what I want to know. If he's giving me the rest of the field, and I'll take Brother Martin, and he takes Brother Martin. I'm in.
All right. You heard that, Reggie. All right. Let's get to our games. Tomorrow night, Joe Yenny, 4-5 Honorable, at 5-4 John Everett. This is for second place in the district. I got John Everett, George Peppers.
How do you pick against John Everett? Barnable's had a little bit of come up this year. They've popped a few wins. They had the fast start in district, but Chalmette humbled them last week, brought them back down to earth. 2 weeks ago, Estruma whipped them, and Estruma's not very good. Everett should win it on athleticism and talent alone. John Everett is a prohibitive favorite. They'll get it done, go to 6-4, and probably grab a host spot in the first round of the playoffs.
VK.
Name your score.
Ooh.
Name your score. Bonnable looked it promising weeks ago. Huh?
Not to me.
Well, not to you. It looked promising with a couple wins that they had. But now they're brought down to earth. The eye opener was against Estruma. And then all of a sudden, Chalmette just blew the doors off. It's just going to be that bad again. Sorry, Bonnable. Name your score, John.
And GP. Reggie says you can have the field.
Ooh.
I'm in.
All right, there you go. $20,
I'm in.
guys. $20. All right. Booker T. Washington versus De La Salle. I got De La Salle. George?
This is a tough one right here. De La Salle suffered a tough loss to St. Augustine last week. There you go, VK finally got one after a 6-game losing streak. So maybe the Purple Knights get on the come up here to finish up. Booker T has come on as of late. They've won some games. They whooped Douglas last week. I marvel at what the Cavaliers are better than 3-6. That's a better football team than their record shows. They ran into a bad injury rut. They had starters suspended for a couple of games during the season. Now it's starting to come together a little bit. Yeah, St. Aug got them last week, but St. Aug is better than their record. I'm going Cavaliers, VK. I'm going to take De La Salle.
Well, De La Salle has a lot more key injuries than you think. Watch the game last week against St. Aug. I would, but I'm gonna tell you one thing: Damarian Washington has been coming on lately and coming on really strong. I got Booker T over De La Salle.
Okay. There you have it. Tad Gormley. East St. John at Holy Cross. Ooh, PowerPoints. People are saying Holy Cross wins this matchup. They go to number 2 in the power rankings. If East St. John wins, they'll move up also. Ladies and gentlemen, I got Holy Cross defeating East St. John by 14. Holy Cross with the win. George Peppers.
East St. John has fallen off in the last few weeks. They had the upset loss at home to Terrebonne, then got beat by Destrehan in a game that they were ahead early, but Destrehan, once that Destrehan team got ahead, they just put the clamps on them. And East St. John has not been that pristine team that we saw earlier this year. I think they've kind of regressed a little bit. Holy Cross, yeah, they took the loss to Carr, got whipped by Carr, but look at the bounce back they had last week. Got the job done. I'm going to go Holy Cross as well, and I think it's going to be pretty convincing. I say I'm also with a 14-point win, Holy Cross.
PK.
Expect this game to be one of the best games of the weekend. This game will be a shootout. You have to think Holy Cross is really good, but their defense is up and down. East St. John will take advantage of this. It will be close, but I think the Holy Cross Tigers will win it. Don't be surprised. Go to over on this one, bro. Go to over. This is going to be points aplenty. Holy Cross will win it, and it'll probably be like 45 to maybe 40, like 55 to 49 or something. This how close this game is going to be. Because alone, the Holy Cross defense is not that there, bro. East St. John got speed galore. They're going to take advantage. But Holy Cross will somehow make a play, and they'll get it done. Right now, Holy Cross is the number 3 power ranking seed, and I think they'll stay there with the win.
Cannon Discovery at Riverdale. I got Riverdale. GP.
There's not much to be said. Kendall Discovery's had a rough go of it. Riverdale, they've had some moments, played close last week. Was it Booker T that beat them last week? Yeah, it was them. I think it was them. No, that wasn't them. Wasn't that beat them close? But regardless, Riverdale gets it done, VK.
I got Riverdale in this one. Take the under in that game. Take the under. I got Riverdale.
Okay.
And Reggie, go look at Holy Cross schedule and how many points they gave up this year. Go look at that. That's all I'm saying.
All right, here we go, guys. For the District 6 3A Championship. Both teams 8-1. Parkview Baptist, University Lab / U High, whatever you want to call them. Ooh, my boy Caden, running back from Parkview Baptist. He might have a great day, but guess what? I don't think it's enough to beat U Lab / U High. I got U Lab. GP.
How about the year Parkview Baptist is having? After a couple of lean seasons, they've been on the rise this year in a very big way. You might want to look at this team real close. But the Cubs have the recency edge as far as great success. Parkview is hungry, of course. But I'm going to go University Lab.
VK.
This is going to be a great ball game. Another great ball game in itself. Parkview's not going there for nothing. This is going to be very close. ULab by field goal to win the district championship.
District 1 3A Championship. Sterlington Panthers, Wassman Wildcats. Coach K. got Wassman on the map, ladies and gentlemen. 8-1. Big win over Union last week. Now, can they win the district outright by beating Sterlington? Not this year. Sterlington with the win. George Peppers.
I hate you sometimes. I'm trying to make up 3 games in the pick standings, and I thought this man was going Wassman. I swear I thought you were going that way. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's going to be one of the better. I think this game right here, boys, is one of the best games in the state this week. Wassman played Union Parish playing Union Parish style football. Punish them, pound them, physical. And they beat them at their game. Terrence Kay, he's done a marvelous job there at Wassman. Begrudgingly, I'm not getting off who I'm going to run with. I'm going to go Sterlington here.
VK.
Man, this is going to be another great game. I definitely agree. I love what Wassman is doing. And I'm leaning so hard for Wassman. Well, are they Sterlington ready? Are they Sterlington ready? Meaning, are you ready to go dethrone the kings of that division? Are you really ready to do that? They're going to be ready to go. It'll be close. But Sterlington will come up big at the end. Sterlington wins.
9 district showdown. 2 top 10 teams in the power rankings. Iowa at Cecilia. Oh, man, it's a big one. This is big, guys. But I'm going to go with Cecilia Bulldogs. Shout out to Coach Skanes, who we had on the show, and he sent us all some gear. Cecilia Bulldogs over our way. Yes, yes, yes. Shout out to Coach Skanes for the gear he gave us, meaning us 3. Yes, I still have their gear. They got to come pick it up from me, or they get it when they see me next time. But go ahead, GP. I got Cecilia.
Opportunity knocks, VK. Opportunity knocks. I can't go against a team that was very good to the both of us last week, but Judas over there is backstabbing them people. They were very good to us Iowa last week. because we gave it to you. I'm going with Iowa. That was a team that was a battle against St. Louis. Cecilia has had some great efforts this year. This is going to be a very underrated game, but I'm going with the road team. I got to make up some ground. Iowa for the win.
You talking about Judas? You the one that's Judas. You the one against
How?
Cecilia twice. Twice you didn't win against Cecilia. Now you're going against them. You went against them once. Now you went against them twice. And these people in the tweet, look, Iowa is a great team. Cecilia is a great team. The winner of this game will possibly go into the top 5. They are number 6 and 7.
Yep.
The winner
Mhm.
might crack the top 5.
They will.
This is going to be a great ball game, and it's coming down to the wire. I'm going with them dogs from Cecilia by a field goal. Shout out to Coach Gaines. Appreciate the love you've given us. But it ain't just the fact I'm picking them because of love. I'm picking them because this is going to be a great game. Iowa's a great team, and also Cecilia's a great team. Both of these teams are going to be dangerous going forward.
Without a doubt. And our last Thursday game that you can catch on the LHSAA network on YouTube. 8-0 Zachary at 6-2 Catholic. This is for the District 4 5A championship. Ladies and gentlemen, those Broncos of Zachary gets the win by 10. I got Zachary, George Peppers.
This has not been a vintage year for the Bears of Catholic, right? Zachary, though, getting Coach Brewerton after a slight downtick last year. They kind of weren't that team last year. I'm going Zachary. I mean, I got to make up ground, but I'm not going to do it here. Zachary wins this game.
BK.
I'm going to definitely go with the Zachary Broncos, a team that is coming up under the radar. This team right here, watch out, Division 1 non-select. Watch out. This team is coming under. This is you don't usually see that with a Zachary team. This one this year, they're coming under the radar, and they're gonna sneak on some people. I like Zachary in this game.
Friday games. Here we go. Oh, I sound biased. I don't sound biased, Mr. Gibb. What did I do to sound biased? I just picked Zachary. What did I do to sound biased? I don't even
I
know.
think he's mentioning this. I think he's mentioning the Cecilia stuff.
Nah, I just think they're gonna win. I'm thankful for the gear for Coach Gaines. I think they're gonna win.
Well, sure.
That's all. All right.
If more high schools want to give us some more gear, you can send that to JB's way if y'all want to. We definitely appreciate it.
They get the gear from the high school, baby.
We trying to be like Kobe a little bit. Kobe collecting. We got to start doing that too, just a little bit.
It's,
Correct.
look, they want to donate. That's fine. They don't want to. They don't have to.
It's fine.
They do. We'll gladly accept it. All right, here we go. Friday games. Franklin Parish against Peabody. The battle for second place in the district. Right here. Because Neville got first. I'm going with them war horses. Peabody. George Peppers.
Harry Coleman's done a spectacular job this year with this Warhorse team, right? They did take one on the chin last week against the Tioga team, and I picked Tioga. I told you guys they would get it. They did. Franklin's had a nice year too. Warhorses finished right. They get to 7-3, and obviously to the playoffs. So Peabody, my pick, BK.
I'm gonna agree with all three. I agree with all two of y'all on this one. I like what Harry Coleman's doing, and I tell you, man, give a lot of credit to Franklin Parish. They're having a very nice year in itself, in a good position to stay in the postseason, maybe host a playoff game. We'll see. But at the same time, I think the winner will get a home game. So I like Peabody in this one.
Franklinton versus Lakeshore. Franklinton fighting for a playoff berth. Need a win badly. Lakeshore, well, they pretty much already in, but they maybe fighting for a home seed with a win and a little bit of help. Who gets the win? Lakeshore. George Peppers.
I'm going with look. The Titans have not been that team this year. Lakeshore, they've kind of found a little bit of a fallback. 4-4. It's been an up and down year for them. Franklinton. Uh, I'm not gonna. No, Lakeshore by 2 touchdowns.
All right, Mr. VK. What's happening, man? Who you got?
I know why y'all did that.
Exactly.
I know.
We did nothing.
Yeah, I did something all right. I I
Oh,
I
this fool.
I know. I think this game here is gonna be interesting in itself. Both teams fighting for their lives to have a successful season. I think Lakeshore is gonna finish strong to go over one game over 500. I got a Lakeshore.
Good job, sir. Great job. Moving on. All right.
Of course, whatever, dude.
Moving on.
Oh, wow.
Rummel Jesuit. Jesuit, thanks to their schedule, will be in the playoffs. Rummel 4-5, looking to be 500 and maybe get a first round game. Maybe we'll see. But I got the Rummel Raiders defeating the Blue Jays of Jesuit. George Peppers.
Rumble right now, from what I saw in GoPreps, if I saw it right, is 16. And Jesuit is 18. So this game could be positional value for playoffs, for a home game, perhaps. Everett right now is 15. They would play Jesuit in a prospective first round matchup. Okay. Jesuit all year has been gritty. They've been gallant. But Rummel, I feel like the Raiders just have a little bit of an edge this year. I'm going to go with Rummel, but this game will be close. This will be a typical Catholic League affair. Touchdown spread, Rummel.
I gotta agree right here as well. I think this is gonna be a close game, and so Jesuit is number 17, and I wonder what Archbishop. I'm looking for Archbishop Rummel's 15. So either way, it'll be kind of a better position whoever wins the ball game. I think it's close. I got the Rummel Raiders.
Okay. Let's go to the North Shore. Bogalusa 4-4, but ranked in that top 5 due to the schedule. And they got Albany. I got the Lumberjacks of Bogalusa. George Peppers.
They beat Pine last week. That was the one game that you got me on last week, JB. Took Pine. And look, the Lumberjacks, with athletic, they've got athletes.
Yep.
I just was wondering about their consistency. Albany, I don't know very much about. I see the 5-4 record. They're doing good things there. I do know about Bogalusa, and I know it's Cyril Crutchfield on that side. Lumberjacks by 10.
You look at the power rankings. Bogalusa is number 6 in the power rankings. They're number 6, so that's a big leap for them. If they can win, if they get this win, that'd be big for them. Albany trying to maintain and stay over 500 should be interesting, but I like Sarah Crutchfield and his squad. They're starting to come along now. Bogalusa will get the win and possibly crack a top 5.
Showdown. I got a couple showdowns on the West Bank. But this one here, the Karen Crow Bears coming on down to play the Archbishop Shaw Eagles. Man, I've heard people say Karen Crow will beat Shaw by 40. Karen Crow the best in the state. Shaw can't do nothing on Karen Crow. I've heard people say this. Archbishop Shaw gets the win over Karen Crow Friday night. And will be a top 4 team in the power rankings with that win. Archbishop Shaw. George Peppers.
If Shaw wins this game, you better put him on that list of big time contenders in the playoffs, because that's going to knock off. They're going to knock off a Karen Crow team that legitimately has a shot to win Division 1. But not so fast, my friend. I'm going Karen Crow. I think this is going to be an exciting, close, physical battle, VK. But I'm going with the road side. I got to make up 3 games. This will be my second. Karen Crow by a touchdown.
This one, I really think this is going to be a close one in itself. Like I said, this is definitely a trap game for Karen Crow. This is definitely a trap game because the fact of the matter is you're coming off of a loss to Acadiana, which you had, but all of a sudden now you got to come all the way down to the West Bank. I tell you one thing, Shaw could have a really good start to the game, but I got the Crow Bears winning it by a field goal at the end. Crow Bears will win it in a close one.
All right, we move on.
But if Shaw do win, watch out for the Eagles, bro. Watch out for the Eagles.
Hmm.
Oh, of course. JB, we might not even come on the show if Shaw wins. You're like, you could have the show by yourself, bro. It's the Shaw Hour. It's the Archbishop Shaw Hour with JB, your sports guy. Take over, dude. We'll let you have it the whole night.
Man, Kenny is crazy. All right, moving on. District 8 3A Championship that you can catch on CrescentCitySports.com. Edie White at St. James. Oh, this rivalry is big. St. James just hasn't been able to get Edie White for the past couple of years, but guess what? That's going to change Friday night in Wildcat Stadium. St. James will beat Edie White. George Peppers.
Hmm. One of the best games in the state, bar none. We saw St. James. We saw VK and I saw him. That's an impressive outfit. Their speed, their offense. Edie White though plays such a physical brand of football, and it is a quintessential battle right here. Um, I'm not, uh, I'm not sure about Edie White here though, VK. I think the world that Kyle has seen and what he's done over there with the Cardinals. They've been on the precipice of state championships, and but I feel like St. James is clicking at the right time. They're gonna get it together. They win this game close. St. James gets it done.
I think this game is going to be a very good one, very close one indeed. And I got to tell you one thing. I think Edie White's going to be ready to play. Carl is saying, I tell you, Edie White's dangerous going into postseason. In my opinion, they could be a team. Could they get back to the state championship? Yes, they could because of the fact of their running game alone and their defense. But this Friday night, and here's the difference of the last couple of years that St. James had trouble. They had to play in Thibodeau the last 2 years, some way, somehow. For the first time in 2 years, this game is back in beautiful downtown Vacherie, and it will be a beautiful night. Close game, but the St. James Wildcats will punch their ticket, getting their district championship and possibly maybe a top two in the power rankings. I got St. James.
Right. Hornville Tigers against Terrebonne. Terrebonne was getting upset last week by Thibodeau. That knocked them out of being able to host the home game as of right now. A win and a little help, yes, it can happen. Hornville, kind of on the outside looking in, but things can happen. Things can happen. But I think the Terrebonne Tigers bounce back and they defeat Hornville. George Peppers.
Terrebonne should be ashamed of themselves for what happened last week. 21-0 to the good against Thibodeau. And Thibodeau, quite honestly, is not a very good football team. And you gave that game away off the big win against East St. John. That is inexcusable. Hahnville is going to be the desperate team here, trying to get into the playoffs. But what's going to happen if they win and get in? They're going to probably get dusted against some top seed in the first round. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but Daniel Luquette, it's been a struggle down there. They've had moments, but I really want to take the upset here. I'm not going to. Terrible, but it's going to be close.
This game is going to be it's going to be interesting to go down to the fourth quarter. Hahnville's really going to give it all they have, especially those seniors. They're not going out with a fight. without a fight. They're not going out without a fight. So this is going to go down all the way to the fourth quarter, and I think Coach Tyler Lewis and this squad is going to put their guts on the table, let the chips fall where they may, and handle business in the fourth quarter. Terrebonne gets the win and ties the second in the district.
Horse Memphis Stadium. John Curtis, Edna Carr. Who gets the win? I've been saying Carr all week in my head, man. But with the news that just came out, Curtis might come out firing, mad, upset that publications are saying they're not playing for the record now. I think this game just got a little bit more personal, and I think we're about to see a close game. But some type of way, Edna Carr will squeak this win out. Edna Carr, 9-0, stays number 1 in the power rankings. I got Edna Carr, George Peppers.
I have said since the summer that I thought Curtis was the team to beat in the Catholic League. Now, obviously, they've had a couple of hiccups, but look what they've done here the last couple of weeks. They shut out Acadiana, who's a highly regarded state championship potential contender. Then they punished Brother Martin. Sorry, Reggie, but they punished y'all. 26-7. Um, Edna Carr, when they play 48 minutes of Edna Carr football, there isn't very many teams that could say they can beat them. But in that vein, they've had too many hit or miss kind of games. The game against Jesuit last week. All right, they won. I mean Rummel last week. The game against Rummel, where they were behind most of that game, and they rallied late into the third quarter, into the fourth. I feel like I'm gonna stick to my preseason prediction. JB, you pick Carr?
For what, the district or state?
No, for this
Oh,
game.
this game. I'm sorry. Yes, I picked Carr.
All right. Here's my equalizer, PK. John Curtis. I'm sticking to my guns. Not getting off.
Woo! This is a tough one. This is a tough one because my heart says Carr. My head is saying John Curtis because of the fact of the matter is, if John Curtis loses, this is maybe be the most losses they have had in the regular season in a long time. They don't usually lose 3 to 4 games a year. They really don't. And with all this going on and everything else, this is a perfect storm that John Curtis can come in there, not just win, but dominate. Because stuff like this, it's like plain and simple, we're getting slapped in the face. It's gonna be a very, very close game coming down to the wire. I'm gonna go with Carr to maintain maintain that number 1 seed. But it's gonna be very close, not gonna be easy. But here's the thing about John Curtis. You better hope John Curtis don't rise up. If they rise up, they're gonna be looking like a couple teams, like a Bastrop, who got stuff taken away, and all of a sudden they decided, hey, we about to blast everybody because of what the LHSA done to us. So, like I said, sometimes the LHSA can fire certain teams up because, okay, your tears down. Okay, we about to come in and handle everybody and show y'all what y'all did to us. But I got Carr in this close ball game coming up on Friday.
Go to Bell Chase. Landry taking on Bell Chase. I know some of y'all saying why I got this game up here. I know that. I know, but let me tell y'all something right quick. It's about to go down in Bell Chase. You think these boys from Landry forgot what Bell Chase did to them last year? Ratted on them, got them kicked out the playoffs when they were supposed to host a first round game? You think they forgot about this? Landry going to Bell Chase and get the W. All you got to do is stop the run. Landry, Buccaneers, upset win, playoffs. Book it. Go ahead, George.
And Courtney Hogan just became a very big fan of yours. He's always been, but it just got elevated. Um, Landry, let's talk about Landry for a second. For the miserable start that they've had, they seem to have come along here, got a couple of wins. They've been competitive. Bell Chase feels one dimensional. They've not been that, they don't scare you throwing the ball on the perimeter. Their defense is a solid defense. Like I said, Landry's found a little bit of confidence. Damn it. This could be my clinch. This could have been the clincher if I'm winning the other 3 games. Oof. But that's gonna be that the cage is a tough place to play down there at Bell Chase. And yeah, Landry's got that motivation that you're talking about, Jared, but I'm going with Bell Chase at home. I think their defense is gonna make some plays, VK, and win a close game.
Yeah, the cage is a very tough place to play and a tough place to win. LJ is a very respectable program. Very. But these seniors from Landry, you think they forgot? No. And now they're playing good at the right time. And they know these last couple, and it ain't just last year, it's been a couple years. Bell Chase and Landry has gotten into some drama. And I really think it's going to be like that again on Friday night. But I think it's going to be payback time. Landry knows they're one win away from a playoff berth. And I know one thing, this game's going to go down to the wire. I got to go with the Landry Bucks for the upset.
I'm
I
telling
got to
y'all.
go with Landry. It smells it. It just smells it. It would be just right for them seniors, especially the transition that Landry is going through right now, for them to go out and say, despite the injuries, despite all the drama, oh, we got our payback and we're going to postseason. And Bell Chase, you can't do nothing about it.
Landry beat Bell Chase last year in week 10. And then Bell Chase went and just ratted on him. Quick investigation. Landry banned from the playoffs. Had to forfeit the first round game. I'm telling y'all, bro, that's been on their mind since Saturday. Woo! About to rattle some feathers up in there, boy. Let's go. Move on. Mandeville and Covington. Mandeville and Covington. This is like number 26 to number 30 with these two. Fighting to stay in and fighting to get in. I think Covington gets the win. They healthy players back. I got Covington. George Peppers.
Should be a tight physical affair up at Jack Salter Stadium with the 15-foot steps. I, you picking Covington. I'm gonna go trepidantly. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm going with the Lions. Skippers, after a couple of big starts to the season, have kind of slackened up a little bit. VK, I think they've kind of tailed off a little bit. They're not at where they need to be, and I still think they're in the playoffs. Covington's the more desperate team. They've got to climb a few spots to get in. They need to pass 3 teams to get there. Lions close.
And I think it's like 20, what,
30.
28?
28 for non-select.
28 for non-select. Okay.
And they're 2 spots out of the 28 spot.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this game is going to be close, but how the mighty has fallen. A great start for Mandeville, and things kind of went downhill after. Covington's starting to make that come up a little bit now. It's going to go down to the wire. I like Covington by a touchdown.
There you have it. District 10 2A championship. Newman and St. Charles Catholic. Here it is. Who are we picking? Oh, boy. I got St. Charles Catholic. I think St. Charles Catholic going to be just a little bit too much for Newman. I got St. Charles Catholic. George Peppers.
It's an electric atmosphere that's going to be in Laplace Friday night. That place is going to be jumping. St. Charles and Newman. It's going to be a spectacular night of football. And you know what? It's going to be cool and crisp, the weather. So we're in for a great, great night of football there. Is Newman ready, VK, to win this kind of game? This kind of game on the road in a week 10 against a team that's got what Newman wants, a title? Not yet. Newman makes it very close, but St. Charles plays their closest game of the year and wins this by a touchdown.
Well, we know this game is not going to be broadcast and anything else. Fans of both teams or football fans in general get to Thomas Dupuis Stadium real early, because it's going to be standing room only up in that thing. Probably the biggest Newman St. Charles game we are going to be probably ever, because both teams are undefeated going into this game. Somebody's going to be 10-0 and somebody's going to be district champion. And somebody's going to be also maybe a top 2 or maybe number 1. But it's going to be interesting in itself. This goes down all the way to the wire. I got St. Charles. St. Charles Catholic will win and go 10-0 on and probably the most impressive. I don't care what anybody say. If St. Charles win, probably the best resume going into the playoffs.
Okay, Mister, don't care what nobody says. Moving on.
That's right.
To your alma mater.
Oh
boy. Do you
boy.
care about them?
Oh boy.
St. Aug.
Oh boy.
Versus Brother Martin.
Oh boy.
Q, where you at, Q? Because I got Brother Martin. Boy. Just like that. I ain't getting deep into it. Brother Martin. Who you got, George Peppers?
Could be a good game. Purple Knights got a little bit of a confidence boost with a good win against De La Salle last week. Brother Martin has been solid all year long. I think this is going to be an airtight affair. And I'm not doing this to spite, but I'm doing it because I feel like this is just a better team at this juncture. Crusaders by a field goal.
Okay. Closer than the next best thing. I like that. Well, my points of the game. This is what I think about the game on Friday night. That's what I think about the game on Friday night. Look, I don't really care about this game. I really don't.
Why?
I really don't. Is it a fact St. August just not had the season they were supposed to have this year? Nothing didn't go right at all. And all I know, would I take St. Aug in pride like last week, like this week? Last week was pride and they got the job done. Thank you, Purple Knights. Appreciate it for 2,600.
Probably saved their postseason with that win.
Exactly. They probably did. And I'm wondering where they at. Let me check the power rankings for them right.
22 playing Alexandria.
They got to go there.
What number are they?
22.
Oh, I thought they were.
Or 20. I'm sorry. 20 versus 13. Mm-hmm. 20 v 13, and it's Alexandria at 13. And that's who you'd play against that offense. Mm-hmm. Nice try.
It might slow down. Might slow that offense down. Might slow the offense down. Who knows?
If that's the matchup.
That's the matchup. But regardless of the fact, look, Reggie, Brother Martin, look, St. Aug just did not have a good year, okay? Let's just be real. You know, of course they're going to honor your side. Of course. Congratulations to Mr. Caleb. Congratulations to that guy.
Definitely.
Yes.
Big ups to Reggie and his son.
Big ups.
Definitely.
Big ups, Reggie. Big up.
Big up.
No, Trey Sean Ware is a junior, so he's next year. Okay.
Yes, senior night. Yes, senior night. Your senior night.
Well, who you got, bro? You got Brother Martin?
I got Brother Martin. I'm gonna do Reggie. I'm not stupid, bro. I'm trying to still win the regular season, man. So straight up, I got Brother Martin. So congratulations. Hope y'all get the win. If St. Aug wins, all I know y'all gonna be all sick all over the place. But enjoy your senior night.
All right, so to be right at John Kennedy, easy. George.
What are we talking about this game for? I mean, look, Sophie B has been solid this year, but in a couple of big spots, they've come up very small. Kennedy, absolutely one of the underrated teams in Division Two. They're going to make another statement, and they're going to tell everybody, "Look out, boys! We got a squad that can do some damn what? What would be close?
You said
Hold
Brother
on.
Martin close with saying, "Oh, that's what you said. That's what you're talking about."
Well, I'm telling you this, Reggie, for another 20, I'll give you 28. You can give me 28 points in AUG. I think Brother Martin's going to win, but they're not winning 27 to nothing, like you said. Give me 28 since you talking all that.
Mm.
But Kennedy's my pick, VK. Cougars, absolutely a team that can do some damage in D2. They're going to blast Sophie B. Wright Friday night.
I definitely agree. You know, Sophie B has been making some strides and everything. And Coach Kenny Dorsey doing everything he can with the squad, you know. But Kennedy is starting to come on and starting to play on another level. I like
Hmm.
Kennedy Cougars big and possibly, and it depends on what happens on Friday, they might crack the top three. We'll see.
Like my dude,
They're already third, I think.
Actually, they're fourth. ED White's right in front.
Oh, they point?
Yep.
Okay,
ED
gotcha.
White's
my
three.
dude D Gibb, he might be one to bet you 20, George. I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
Free money on the Hash It Out show.
All right.
Just saying.
Oh, not that one. Hold on. Let's go back one. District 2 5A championship.
Oh,
Ruston 9-0. West Monroe 8-1. At one time, Ruston had to go through West Monroe. Couldn't beat them. And finally got over that hump. And now it's the other way around. West Monroe has to get over that hump to beat Ruston. And guess what? It's not happening. Ruston with the win, district champions over West Monroe. George Peppers.
VK Jones is the president of the West Bank chapter of the Ruston Fan Club. That must be said. Um, but no, as far as this game, look, y'all, the most underrated defense in the state of Louisiana because of what they did against Jawan Johnson and Lafayette Christian. That Ruston defense is one of the most underrated defenses that in the state. West Monroe, y'all are home. It's the University of West Monroe, whatever. Ruston's beating the brakes off of y'all. They win by 17.
Whew. Man. Expect this to be a close game early. West Monroe's not going to lay down. They've been really coming up big this season despite of what's been going on. And I think they have won, I believe, 7 straight games going in this ball game here. But Ruston's the better team. Ruston has more experience. Ruston will get it done with a huge second half and win.
All right. The number 2 team in the power rankings for Division 1 non-select, Captain Shreve. Taking on Harton. I think I better go watch some film on Captain Shreve. All I got to say. I got Captain Shreve winning. Going to 9-1. George Peppers.
In the power ratings that we've looked at, I told you John Herrick was 15 hosting Jesuit. If they were to win, they would take that long, long trip to Captain Shreve because Captain Shreve right now is the 2. That would mean exit stage left for Eric, by the way. This game, not close. Captain Shreve wins, finishes off a magical regular season, and gets set to try to make a run in the playoffs. VK, I got Captain Shreve big.
I got Captain Shreve as well. Name your number on this one. Captain Shreve has just been on another level this year, and they're going to end their season 9-1, probably the best, maybe one of the best seasons in school history with their record alone. But at the same time, can they keep it going? They're not a known name, but they've been coming up. But they've not been a known name in the
Mhm.
postseason. So I think Captain Shreve wins. They go 9-1, one of the best records they have had probably ever at the school.
Power rankings. This can help either team. Jennings at St. Louis Catholic. Jennings, I believe, is in the top 10 in Division 2 non-select. St. Louis Catholic is number 5 in Division 2 select. Big game here. Be a good one. But I kind of think St. Louis Catholic gets this win. I got St. Louis Catholic. George Peppers.
Jennings is one of the least talked about teams with a premier record. That's a very good football team. St. Louis, though, had Iowa dead to rights last week. Turnovers flipped that game around and get in the favor of Iowa. If the Saints play a clean game, it stands to reason they win it. I'm going to lean to the road team here, Jennings, but very close, VK. I got Jennings close.
Okay, so
I got
Jared,
you, Gibb. I got you.
So Jared, you got St. Louis. George, you got Jennings. Jennings.
Yes, sir. Break the tie.
Okay. Jennings right now is the number 8 seed right now in Division 2. And St. Louis is actually number 7.
Oh, they're 7. My fault.
Yeah, they're 7. No problem.
Okay.
They're number 7. It should be a very interesting game between both of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis is having a good year. Jennings under the radar, having a very good year. I like what Jennings is doing under the radar, but I'm 1-1 with St. Louis, and I'm trying to crack that code to win the regular season. I gotta go with my boy Brock Mathern one more time. Do this for me, man. I need this.
All right. And our last game before we go into the top 5, the showdown in Lafayette. District 4 4A championship. 2 schools that do not like each other. 2 schools that faced off last year in the state championship that Lafayette Christian gave away. And my friend George would say St. Thomas More won it. St. Thomas More and Lafayette Christian, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen both of these teams play. And I'm telling you, speed will give St. Thomas More problems this year. And Lafayette Christian has it. Lafayette Christian will win this game. And it's not going to be close. Lafayette Christian by 21 over St. Thomas More. St. Thomas More will have trouble stopping Jalen Noel and Juwan Johnson. We saw speed with Westgate, and Westgate didn't even have their best player. And if Jabari Antoine was playing, they would have beaten St. Thomas More. Westgate lost 31-21 when LCA beat Westgate 42-11. LCA beat St. Thomas More by 21. LCA, and maybe take over number 1 seed in the power rankings. George Peppers.
We saw, like you mentioned, we saw both these teams last week, and in all due fairness for St. Thomas More, they could have played a lot better than they did at Westgate. To the eye, I wasn't overly impressed. The one thing I wanted to see, and they answered it for me, that defense, quote, was improved, and everything else. And yeah, numbers
defense?
don't. St. Thomas More's defense.
From last year?
No, yeah, they were last year. They gave up a lot of points. This year, remember the first 7 games, 5 teams couldn't crack double digits.
Okay.
So maybe it's a mirror, smoke and mirrors or whatnot. I know what I saw last week. St. Thomas More, y'all in a world of hurt. I'm going Lafayette Christian, VK, and Juwan Johnson to finish a dominant senior season and try to catch Brock Berlin. LCA by 14.
Looking at the power rankings, gentlemen, 1 versus 2. And they're separated by a 10th of a point.
You saw the 10th of a point?
It's about at least 100 to a 10th of a point. I'm gonna tell you.
Say the numbers. What we got?
All right. St. Thomas More. Their points is a 8.780. Lafayette Christian is
you're looking at strength factor. We need the power ranking points.
Oh, power ranking points. Okay.
See? I'm not gonna say it. George, you know what I'm talking about, George.
Y'all two need to shut up. All you should have just said, hey, can you take a look at the power ranking instead of strength factor? You should have said that. Thank you, and I would have looked at that.
You just said power ranking points. 1 versus 2.
All right.
Go ahead, bro.
Power ranking points. 16.034 16.030 for St. Thomas More. Lafayette Christian 14.940.
Ooh, so 1.1. So there's still a chance STM could lose and still be number one. Okay.
Wow. But it's almost like that would be kind of crazy, but it is what it is. That's
That's what
how
it
the
is.
system work.
Yep.
But I think LCA should jump them if they win. But we'll see what happens Friday. This game, it'll. I'm gonna say this: like St. Thomas, when I'm not gonna disrespect them because they're two-time champs. And I'll tell you what my thoughts about them in a minute. We're going on top five, but close early. But LCA settles down, and LCA will win by 2 touchdowns.
There you have it.
LCA by 2 touchdowns.
There you have it. All right, guys. It's 10 o'clock. Let's do this quickly. Our top five. We'll start with mines first. There it is. In the car, Rustin, Destrehan. I moved up Lafayette Christian over STM. What you got to say about that, George Peppers?
I have no problem with your top five at all. I mean, it's a subjective argument, and people are going to, react and say, well, LCA's lost to STM twice, and this and this and this. Look, y'all, we saw what we saw, and our top five is going to reflect it as well. Um, I don't have a problem, VK, with this top five at all. At all.
Not me either. I don't have a problem with it. Not one bit. I think this is a real legit top five, Mr. JB.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it so much. Now we go to my man George Peppers. His top five. In the car, Destrehan, Zachary. George Peppers putting in the Zachary Broncos at number 3. Rustin and St. Charles Catholic. I'll go first. You know me, I don't have St. Charles Catholic in anybody's top five. That's the only thing I would say. I would put a Lafayette Christian or STM before them, but due to resume, it is good. It's a good resume, so you really can't argue that. So I ain't got much of a problem with it. VK.
I don't have a problem with it either. I think George, I got to give you props. That's a lot of guts for you to put Zachary in the top five, bro. And I like that a lot because, like I said, that's a team that's coming under the radar. So might sneak on some teams and probably knock some people off, man. I like that.
And one more top five to go over. VK's. Of course. And there it is. VK moves in the car to number 1. And then out of nowhere, he moves up Destrehan, who wasn't in the top 5, to number 2. Rustin is number 3. St. Charles Catholic, number 4. And then VK, once again, for the second time in 3 weeks, has a tie. This time a tie for 5th between STM and LCA, which that tie will be broken this Friday. I mean, I really don't have much to say about it. No arguments here. George Peppers.
Before I say anything, the Texas Rangers have just won the World Series, winning 5-0 tonight. They win the 2023 World Series, and the Pelicans came back in it with a big second half, and they beat Oklahoma City tonight, 110-106. So, good night. For VK's top five, it's the top 6, y'all. Here we go with the mathematics. There we go with the math, y'all. But all kidding aside, on the surface, look, we did not coerce VK into putting Destrehan number 2. We didn't push him. We just kept questioning him for weeks. Why aren't they in the top 5? For weeks. And in a less than impressive effort by Destrehan offensively, they get the job done, but they're number 2. If anything, I don't know. I mean, VK and I share the same opinion as St. Charles. We saw them play St. Thomas more. Actually, I dropped them out of my top 5. VK, I dropped them out. The eyes tell the story. For arguments what you made about journalistic integrity, my eyes saw a very inflated football team last Friday night. I don't think they're that good. I'm going to go as far as to say if Shaw and STM link up in the playoffs, I would bet the farm on Shaw to beat them. I don't. But other than that, again, these things are subjective. These top fives. I don't have a real issue with your top five at all.
Mm. Appreciate it. Like I said about STM, I wasn't impressed either by the eyes, but I'm not going to disrespect the two-time state champions that's still undefeated. So
Hmm.
I'm going to still keep them there in the top five. That's why they're tied with fifth. So that's because Lafayette. I was gonna put Lafayette Christian ahead and STM out, but I was like,
Right?
nah, you just can't disrespect the two-time champs. The thing about yes, I think Shaw would have a great chance against St. Thomas More. They will have a great chance because of what I've seen. But here's the thing about STM, and I'm gonna say this about STM: you better put them away early. If you don't put them away early, if this is maybe one of the most dangerous teams in the state for one reason only. Let this team hang going to the fourth quarter. STM is the type of team that will find a way to win. We've seen that over the years with STM. They will find a way. Don't let them hang. That's the one thing you don't do against a team like that. When you put them away, put them away. If you let them hang in the fourth, they're going to find a way to win the game. So just put them away. That's all you got to do.
And ladies and gents, that will conclude our show for tonight. Special thank you to Isidore Newman's head coach, Coach Nelson Stewart, and the head coach of the Acadiana Wrecking Rams, Coach Matt McCullough. We thank y'all for joining us. We're back Sunday, 6 o'clock p.m. We will talk about the release of the playoff brackets. Me, George Peppers, and VK, all three of us. We're going to talk about the release of the playoff brackets and give y'all who we think will be the four semifinalists in each bracket. George Peppers, any last words before we go?
It's going to be a loaded weekend in every aspect. We got the final week of prep football, LSU Alabama Saturday night, huge game, and of course a loaded weekend of college football and NFL football. The Saints won last week, looking to punctuate and begin a winning streak. Uh, Against Chicago Sunday, and of course, y'all know about my horse racing. That's the biggest weekend of the year, the 2023 Breeders' Cup, the 40th rendition to be run at Santa Anita Park in Arcadia, California, starting Friday and into Saturday. I will be live tweeting race results and race analysis on Twitter. So follow me at George Peppers on Twitter to get racing analysis. And hey, I can put some money in your pockets this weekend, including you two. Including you two. So pay attention. Class is in session this weekend.
VK.
Hey man, so it's gonna be a very good weekend in the sub. We're looking forward to bringing you South Plaquemines and Jefferson Rise, two very good premier programs for battling for the district championship, and also some big time love and recognition to South Plaquemines, especially at their new stadium that we're gonna be at on Friday night. They have been at the school. I think now this is year number 3. So this is and I passed by the school and George. I know you're gonna be looking forward to when you take a look at what South Plaquemines has now after everything they have been through from the Hurricane
Sure.
Katrina and then some, and how the school has merged. Man, they got a great school out there and a bright, bright future in that community. So looking forward to bringing that game to you on Friday night. I have to call, and it's gonna be a fun night Friday night. And George, we're gonna get fed too, bro. Coach Fee said, just bring your appetite.
Well, if it was like last week, oh, we got the hookup last week at Westgate. And look, before we go, I
Mm.
want to give a massive, massive, massive shout out on behalf of the Hash It Out show, the three of us, to the people at Westgate. Look, we talk about food, and it's jokingly, but you know what? The love they gave us the last 2 weeks. Look, I would absolutely, absolutely love to go back if they host a playoff game. But right now they're sitting on the roadside of things. So, but no, we want to thank you guys. And for every team, every school that has hosted us this year. I mean, it's our last regular season game. We are going to do playoff games. But for every school that has hosted us, St. Charles, East St. John, Covington, all those, everybody that has hosted us this year, Westgate twice. Now we go to South Plaquemines. Can't wait to get down there. It's been a while. and it's right near Buras. So it's going to be a great night. But we thank y'all for giving us the opportunity. We thank TSBNsports.com for putting us on the air, and the numbers never lie with that. Check it out. We will be with you Friday night. I've got the pregame. VK's got the call. We're gonna do the 2 words that Sean Payton employed when he was head coach of the Saints: finish strong. And that's what we're gonna do with the final regular season game. This weekend is gonna be fun, and it's gonna be cool, really cool. So yeah, not getting any complaints at all. And
George,
by the way, set your clocks back an hour. Daylight savings time kicks in this weekend.
yep. George, please wear pants tomorrow.
Tomorrow or
Please,
Friday?
no, Friday. I'm sorry. Please wear pants Friday, George,
This dude's
because
worried about my dress wear.
I'm saying because you better bundle up. We're gonna be by the waters. So
Bring your
bundle up.
just bring your credentials, sir. That's all I need. And remember,
Oh,
Jeff,
I'm gonna have my credentials.
All
I'm
right.
gonna be fine.
All right, guys.
and,
Let's
and
get in the guys. George Peppers, DK Jones.
Yes.
We see y'all Sunday at 6 o'clock right here. Till then, y'all take care.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out